all right? And depending on its popularity, will basically have an arc of popularity which will fade over weeks or months while it's still available, all right? So, The Sopranos, Doctor Who. Now, I'll give you a case in point here. You've probably all seen, because I think CBC is actually showing the new Doctor Who series.
Yeah,
it's really good. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's right. It's really good. And so, when some post-work was being done in Canada for the first episode of Doctor Who, that episode leaked out via BitTorrent. And of course, there was a vast audience of people really, really hungry to see what the new Doctor was going to be like. And so it went on to BitTorrent, was hugely popular right away. And the BBC, you know, made all sorts of noises about it. Someone at CBC or one of their post-production houses did get fired over this. And it still it aired on British television. But the interesting thing is that it set the word of mouth up. And it set the word of mouth up such that when that first episode aired, it got the highest ratings ever for a Doctor Who episode. Same thing with Battlestar Galactica. Battlestar Galactica aired in Britain 3 months before it aired in America. But Sci-Fi Channel in America had been banging the drums so much about this new series that as soon as these episodes aired on Sky One in the UK, they were put on the torrent, and then 10, 20, 30,000 geeks in America are downloading it and watching it, going, wow, this is amazing, and telling their friends. So that when it airs in January, 3 months after its air date in the UK, it immediately becomes the #1 rated show on Sci-Fi. And then now it's moving to NBC because it's got such a high rating. So in these cases, leaking this content out, even this drive to piracy, seems only to be serving the producer and the broadcaster. It seems actually not to be affecting their bottom lines except in a positive way.
And you'll notice that the quality of that is extraordinary. It's not like you're watching some cheesy little grainy. You can go on torrent and download high-def episodes of just about any show that's actually produced in high-def.
Right.
So the actual quality of your entertainment experience is on par, if not superior, to some of the distribution systems that we have in Canada.
Right, absolutely. And, you know, there are systems that are emerging now because using the torrent is still a bit of a geeky operation. It's not that geeky, and the barrier to using it is dropping dramatically every day. But what you'll see now is you can, if you know what an RSS feed is, which can bring in news or other reports, people are actually making RSS feeds of torrents. All right, so all you have to do is just sort of have this app running happily in the background, and the next time you check it, your favorite TV shows are going to be there ready for you to watch because they've shown up somewhere in the world, they've been grabbed, they've been downloaded, and they're there. And this is moving now to this much more automated world. And of course, BBC, which is probably the most forward-looking of all, certainly of all the English language broadcasters and arguably the broadcasters in the world, has produced a small application that uses a variant of BitTorrent called the PCTV, I think is maybe what it's called. And basically what they do is they present a 2-week window of their broadcasts. And you select which broadcast that you want, and using BitTorrent, they download using this, you know, the network of 30 million computers in the UK, all connected via broadband. And so that the programming is there on your computer at any time that you want to watch it.
What this means for you, and I know we're using at times some industry jargon, is that the technology exists right now free. You could go home this afternoon and plop it on your PC to distribute your show at as pristine a production value as you can make it, and it be accessible to anybody in the world. Now, just because it's accessible doesn't mean you're going to have an instant audience. And most of what we're going to be talking about moving on forward, we've now come to the conclusion that, okay, you can get your stuff out there. How do you connect it with an audience?
Right.
Which is really, you know,
or, if I can give you another example, there's a show in Australia called The Chaser. All right, The Chaser is a comedy series. A bunch of kids who are constantly getting in trouble because they're constantly attacking political figures in very funny ways, but they're constantly sort of skirting the edge. And I know the series producer for The Chaser, and it was interesting because I saw Chaser episodes showing up on the torrent a couple of months ago, and I was talking to him, he's like, yeah, we know about that. He sort of let me hear that it was probably them who were doing it, all right? But they couldn't let ABC know, who's the producing broadcaster, because ABC would be all concerned about their copyright. Except now, it's available on the iTunes movie store for free. So obviously, they've gotten ABC sanction. And now they're using, rather than using BitTorrent as their hyper-distribution medium, they're using their own distribution medium through the iTunes movie store. And so now, anyone, anywhere in the world can watch The Chaser, not just someone who's sitting in front of their television set at 10 p.m. on a Friday night. All right, so they're extending it out to a global brand. All right, let's talk about business models.
I'm all about the dead prime ministers.
You don't put living prime ministers on your money? Okay, so I'm going to show you now Red versus Blue for those of you who might not have seen it.
This rocks so hard. This is the Halo engine from the video game that somebody's corrupted to make into movies.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's very mystery, isn't it?
Do we have stereo?
Wow.
No, we don't. Oh, let me see what
Are we thought of some common coincidence, or is it really watching everything, you know, for the plan for us and stuff? I don't know, man. But it keeps me up at night. What? I mean, why are we out here in this canyon? Oh, yeah. Well, so far. Nothing. You want to talk about it? No. You sure? Yeah. Seriously though, why are we out here? As far as I can tell, it's just a box canyon in the middle of nowhere. There's no way in or out. The only reason that we set up a red base here is because they have a blue base over there. And the only reason they have a blue base over there is because we have a red base here. Yeah, that's because we're fighting each other. No, but I mean, even if we were to pull out today and they were to come take our base, they would have two bases in the middle of a box canyon. What do you do? What's up with that anyway? I mean, I thought I was like aliens. Next thing I know, man, you keep blowing up the whole Covenant Armada, and I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere. Fighting a bunch of blue guys. What are they doing? What? Sid, what are they doing now? Gosh, damn, I'm getting so sick of answering that question. No, I can't see shit. Don't look at me, because I'm not going to just sit up here and play with my dick. Okay, look. They're just standing there and talking, okay? That's all they're doing. That's all they ever do, is just stand there and talk. That's what they were doing last week. That's what they were doing when you asked me 5 minutes ago. So 5 minutes from now, when you ask me, what are they doing? My answer's going to be, they're still just talking, and they're still just standing there. What are they talking about? You know what? I hate you. I mean, maybe out there finding new and intelligent things in life. You know, fight them. Yeah, no, that's why I should put Buzz in charge. Hey! Buzz, stay there, I'll know!
All right. So that's episode 1 of Red versus Blue. Now, I'll tell you a little bit of the backstory of Red versus Blue. So these are three guys from Austin, one of whom had recently gotten out of the Army back in 2002. And they decided that they wanted to tell stories. And so they took the engine, that's the Halo engine running on Xbox. And they've made what's called a machinima, which is a new type of filmmaking where you can basically take the output of a video game engine by controlling the characters fairly well. And just tape the output, drop it into an edit suite.
Do a voiceover.
Do your
throw some music
voiceover.
in the background and blammo.
And
Instant
blammo.
Movie.
So they got it out there, and of course they didn't have any money. They couldn't afford a huge hosting fee, so they put it up on a web server, but the web server was always overloaded, so what they did was they put it up on the torrent. And it became the first hit. And within a few weeks' time, during their first series of 19 episodes, they were getting 1 million viewers per episode. Now, that was great for them. They released a DVD, T-shirts, all this other sort of swag that you can buy, and you can get, nice high-resolution episodes and backstory and everything. Then Microsoft came calling, and this was the day they dreaded, because they have repurposed Microsoft's intellectual property in the Halo engine, because Microsoft owns the characters, they own the sets, the whole 9 yards, they own it all. And they figured they were going to get a cease and desist, and Microsoft said, would you guys like to make a little advertisement for our developer conference? We'll pay you.